Yeah, every time I hear that song, it just makes me want to hurt somebody. I love it.
Hell yeah.
And welcome to Carnage and Reaper's Backyard Horror Barbecue. I got my right to my left, my right. I think it's my right. I don't know. Uh, the awesome motherfucking director, James Carnes of the upcoming creature feature, Killer Cox. And of course, well, y'all know me, so I don't need to say shit. But we were just remarking about this before we started the broadcast that we're actually twinning at the moment. He's got his.
That's fucking crazy.
He's got his Freddy on. I got my Freddy on. I guess we're just getting the Freddy tonight.
Yeah. We're not planned at all. Wasn't even planning that at all. Fucking
See,
crazy,
that
man.
synchronicity we got going on.
Hey,
I love it.
goddamn right.
What's up, Big Addict family? What's going on, Rebecca? Hello. Johnny Necro in the house. Cody, always a pleasure, my brother. And this is the time to share it. Share it anywhere and everywhere that there is a horror lover. I don't care if it's your great auntie, your great grandpa, grandma. I don't care. Your sister, your cousin, your best friend, your lover. I don't give a shit. Share it out, because the more we do that, it only helps the show more, and for us to give you excellent entertainment as always. And this show is near and dear to both our hearts and of course everybody out there in the Morgrot universe. We don't have an official horror show, so I said, well, James, what do you think?
Hey, abso-fucking-lutely. Nah, I'm pretty sure that those were my exact words too. It was abso-fucking-lutely.
You got
couldn't be more excited, man. And yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity, brother.
Oh man, there ain't nobody better to have on the show than you for this. That is for damn sure. That you fucking rock. So you know. So what you can expect before we get into tonight's topic on this show is we are going to be doing, all different genres of horror. At any given time, we're going to be doing reviews. We're going to be doing some verses, this film versus that film. Just anything and everything that horror fucking is, which is our life. As the great Babylon son, I'm glad you made it, brother. He showed up for this. He said, horror is life. And I could not agree any more than that. Johnny said, pass me anything except the chicken because it's probably an actor. I love that shit. You guys already got us rolling and we haven't even barely gotten started yet.
Just got started. Shit.
Really got started and you guys are just kicking ass and taking names. We love that shit.
I'll tell you what.
But yeah. So this show is always going to highlight some new stuff, some old stuff. We're going to be talking about all different aspects of horror and, giving you updates and news and shit like that. Just anything that has to do with horror. So we couldn't think of a better topic to start with than what are we starting with, James?
Late Night with the Devil.
That's right. We're going to be talking about 2 demonic films tonight. But we're going to start with Late Night with the Devil, because this film has been hyped up so fucking much. And what have we learned about horror films that get so amped up that everyone is just like, oh, this is going to be the best shit ever. And then you have all those motherfuckers that sit on the sidelines and say, if they're hyping it up this much, it's probably no good. Is that would you agree, James?
Hey, man, I honestly, we tried to go see it in theaters, but by the time we went to go see it, it was already it wasn't in the theaters. So we had to wait until it premiered on Shudder. But man, this is one that I definitely regret not seeing in the theater, because
experience would have been like that much bigger.
Oh man, dude! Like, and that's the thing too, dude. Going to the theater, man. It's a whole experience, man. Like,
Really.
and going to see a movie like that, yeah. Going to go see something like that at the theater, man. Like, jeez, Louise, dude, I bet it was fucking amazing, dude. Because it was, it lived up to the hype, in my opinion.
And, you know, of course, we don't expect you to just take our fucking opinion. We're going to dissect these films and really give you a good look at it. I'm just pulling it up because I want to make sure that I reference the actors. So, late night. Give me 1 second there. Almost there. Oh, that's hilarious. There it is. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is kind of like what we are imagining when they say that this is a late, not the era of the 70s. Everybody remembers the 70s. Come on, it was some of the best late night we ever had, right?
Hey.
And it tells you that, you know, this is in that genre, in that vein of late night television from the 70s, and that this is technically, and y'all know my opinion out there in Morgrat universe, I'm not a found footage fan. I never have been, but this, however, just blew that whole barn door open for me, because I was like, holy shit. And you're going to see why. The fact that this is a lost episode that was supposed to air live on Halloween night back in, I think it was 76. Yeah, 1976. And, you know, and they were referencing Johnny Carson and all the other things that were going on during the 70s, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I literally felt, I don't know about you, James, but I felt like I walked in to that year, that moment when all that shit was happening.
Oh yeah, and dude, I don't know if you caught it, like whenever they were like scrolling through it, parts like in the TV guide, it said all in the Family was one of the shows like that it you know showed real fast as it was cutting through. I was like, oh shit, All in the Family. But yeah, dude, like it totally had that 70s vibe for fucking sure. And that's what I liked so much about this movie, just because nothing like this has ever been done before. There's never been like a late night that I know of. You know, if somebody knows of one, then you know, please let me know. But as far as I know, this is the first one where it's like, you know, like a late night talk show host, like, you know, well. I take that back. I guess there was like that one episode of Tales from the Crypt, but
right. But that was like, you know, that was part of an anthology at, you know, at that point.
Yeah. It wasn't anything like this. Like, and just and holy shit, man! Like, it like all the backstory and stuff that they put in like the docuseries at the beginning, like it made it seem like it was a fucking legit, you know, this shit. It made it seem like this shit really happened. Like,
you know, it was really hilarious too, because I'm that guy. When something strikes me as like really feeling real, I went straight to motherfucking Google. Yep, I'm that guy. I'm like, did this show exist? How did I not know about it? It said that Johnny Carson kicking his ass all the fucking time because Johnny had the best show in the 70s, as most people know, the great Johnny Carson. So I'm like, did this show actually exist? Is this? I'm like, damn, y'all got me. I swore after the fucking Blair Witch Project that I would never get got again, and here I am. I got one more time, but I'm actually happy this time, because the film is actually really, really fucking good. Oh yeah, most definitely, man. Babylon says,
yeah.
I miss looking through the guide. It was so much fun. Dude, we used to live for that shit. It was like getting a present every week. Oh, what's going to be on this time? You know, when does my favorite show come on?
I hate to be the old man, you know what I mean? But yeah, kids these days, you know what I mean? They'll never know. They'll never know. They can just look it up on the Google and see what's coming. Or hell, they can just plug it in the remote and just pop up what they want to watch right then and there.
That's right. They hit that little guide button and it fucking tells you what channel, what time, how long it's going to go for, and what comes up next.
Crazy,
I mean,
man.
the fact that they don't even get to see the national anthem at the end of the night when TV used to shut off for the night. You know, that brings me back to Christ, you know. But that's a whole nother story. That's right. Cody says, hell, I'm 32 and I remember them.
Yeah, see?
Exactly. It's this generation that's missing out on all that great fun from the 70s and the 80s especially. So, but yeah, they got me on this one and they picked, in my opinion, I have always loved this actor, David Dasmalchian, I think is how you say that.
Yeah, dude.
Seen him and so many other things that he was always like the side guy. He was a supporting actor, and I'm like, this guy's over here. Why are you making him, get stomped on in a lot of those roles? And it was so cool to see him take the lead on this because honestly, I don't think they could have picked anybody better. Oh man. And Ingrid Torelli to play that demon girl. Oh my goodness. Couldn't have picked a better child actor.
Yeah, she was like she was very unnerving the entire fucking time. Like, just made me feel uncomfortably weird. Like, she just gave off that fucking dude. She did such a fucking amazing job, dude. Such a fucking amazing job.
Absolutely. The way she would talk, it was almost like she was just stoic and always just had this smile on her face. Like, hi, Jack. Dr. So-and-so says you're handsome, Jack, and you are a handsome Jack.
Yeah,
I'm like, girl, man, you're fucked up.
Oh, man.
But so, he's obviously getting his ass kicked in the ratings. And obviously, we're not going to give you too much because we want you to see it out there in Morgrot Universe. Now, for those of you that do or have seen it, please give us your opinion on this thing. This film far superseded, I think, everyone's expectations. Because what were they pushing around this time? The movie Tarot and another fucking Nun series. You know what I mean? Because ever since, the Nun got popular, now they're just grabbing any random nun and turning her into a possessed person. It's like, come on, man. Stop selling us the same fucking cheese. I like cheese, but I don't like that cheese.
Right. Give me some different kinds of cheese, man. And see, and that's what gets me with a lot of like the Hollywood shit. Oh yeah. That's what gets me with a lot of
government cheese. You can keep that shit.
Hey, it's fucking right, man. Nobody wants that. But like, I feel like that's what a lot of like the big studios and stuff are doing. They're just rehashing like the same kind of shit over and over and over again. And this was, I mean, it wasn't, from a small. It was a pretty big studio that did. I mean, hell, it was
yes.
So I mean, it was not small by any means, but dude, like. Yeah. That right there is what Hollywood needs to be fucking focusing on, is movies like that. Like, it was something unique. It was something, a fresh idea on something that's been done 8 million fucking times before. But they did it to where it felt like something completely fucking new, and that's what I loved about it.
Absolutely, man. It was most definitely the most original idea I've seen come out of Hollywood's ass in a long fucking time. You know,
Yeah,
and
sure.
here we go again. We have another fucking sequel to what was that monster movie? Silent something or other. Where you can't speak, otherwise the little creatures will come and attack you.
Yeah, fuck.
How much I don't care about it. I don't remember the title, but you out there in Morgrot land, you know what I'm talking about. Don't speak or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. A Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place. That was it. Yup.
Yeah.
Johnny says, Easter is my favorite cheese.
Hey, so here.
Babylon says, Hollywood is Velveeta these days.
Wow.
I
That
love
ain't
it.
no shit, man.
Yeah, don't be afraid to tell us what kind of cheese you like, people. We'll make sure you get it.
Hell yeah. You like some spicy pepper jack? We got you.
You know, Gouda, I'll get it on tap. Cody says the last horror movie I really enjoyed was Last Voyage of the Demeter. That's because somebody finally figured out that they could totally turn that tiny section of the book into a full-fledged film, because that was a terrifying journey for these guys to go all the way from the Carpathians all the way over to London, England. That's a whole nother story. We'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, and then Laura Gordon, who plays the doctor, well, she calls herself a parapsychologist.
Parapsychologist,
Yeah, she's the handler of this girl who was born into a satanic cult.
Bum, bum, bum.
Throwback to one of my first roles. But anyway, yeah, so he starts the show off because in the 70s, oh, it's all good, brother. We love that wildlife.
I just like reacting to the wildlife.
Exactly. So in the 70s, we know for very widely documented that the occult was a very popular thing during the 70s. Everybody was getting into it, especially since the great Magister Anton LaVey started the Church of Satan in 16. I think it was 68 or 69. So it was booming. Everyone was into it.
Yeah.
But of course, in our story here with the Late Night with the Devil, it was this other guy. And they were doing, of course, all kinds of blood rituals and, hoods and all that shit. So this girl was the lone survivor of this cult. So in order to try to beat Johnny Carson in ratings, Halloween night, he decides to bring on guests that are in that world. And the first guy he brings on, man, I felt so bad for his ass. I really did. Because how many times do people claiming to be a medium and shit goes wrong for them?
Like, and again, like, it's one of those things where, like, we've seen something like that happen before in a movie, but not like that. Like, they fucking took that shit and they fucking turned it up to 11.
Oh my fucking hell. Yeah. I mean, so obviously he starts off with his little shtick, puts his fingers on either side of the temple, and he's going to, like, suddenly what? Something's going to walk through him? What the fuck is he thinking? And
what the fuck was that one fucker's name? Who used to, like, con people out of shit? He's like,
magician. The magician guy.
John Edwards. That's it. He had that, said that Crossing Over with John Edwards.
Y'all.
Like he tried to do some John Edwards shit, and then like, oh boy, did it backfire.
Oh man, and the funny part is that he starts bringing up a name just in a very John Edwards kind of way, and he gets it fucking wrong. And the whole fucking crowd is like laughing at him. And then all of a sudden, it's like he's fully connected and connects with this one old lady in the front and gets it totally right. And I think you could even see the shock in the actor's face when he's doing it. He's like, how did I know this?
Right.
And things just kind of go even worse for him. So, like I said, I don't want to give too much away because I feel like we would be doing you a disservice because we want you to see it. But obviously, things just start going all kinds of fucking wrong. And then when they finally bring this lady out, and the young girl that's in her care from the cult, things really start getting a turn for the worse. I mean, everyone thinks about. I almost feel like they paid just a smidge homage to the original Exorcist, a little bit.
Oh yeah,
just what I mean. I don't know if you got that feeling. That's why I thought.
Absolutely. Dude, like, yeah, for sure, man. Like, some of the makeup effects, yeah, they definitely paid homage to the Exorcist for sure. But yeah, dude. Again, man. Yeah, once they came out, man, everything just starts, like you said, it just starts going to shit, man. First going with the first guy, and then they bring in another. What was he? He was like a hypnotist.
Yeah, the skeptic guy.
Yeah, the hypnotist. Yeah, and oh man, like,
and yeah, I'm pretty sure all of you out in Morgrot land, you always find that one guy in one of these type films that you just hope gets it. You want him to get it. When I'm telling you that the guy that plays the skeptic in this, you want him to die so bad. And I believe his name is Steve Mouzakis. What's that?
Oh, so like the character name, yeah. I believe that the character's name was Carmichael or something like that.
Yeah, he played Xander Diabo. I think it was. Was that his name? I think that was his name. Yeah. And like I said, it just kind of snowballs with him that you just want him to, because he's trying to basically say the first guy, the psychic guy, who was obviously a fake one, but then all of a sudden got kind of taken over and in the worst of ways. And he's still trying to disprove it. And then when they finally bring the girl out, he's still trying to disprove the fact that when this happens, that they faked it. Now, this is when Jack Delroy is the name of the host of the show, has the parapsychologist let her bring the demon out. And I mean, look at that face. You're telling me that you were sitting there on stage and you saw that face, and you're telling me that was fake, that was smoke and mirrors. Man, I got chills like a motherfucker, because I was like, oh yeah,
dude.
Oh yeah. It's not just bruising, it's not just, the typical whatever, the sweat and the whole pale white with the crazy veins and shit. No, they put a set of chompers on this motherfucker.
Man,
I was like,
straight
what the hell?
Straight up fucking demon from hell. Like, heavy metal album cover fucking demon. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they went there with the design, and that's what I love too. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was the effects team fucking was really badass with this too.
And it was another director friend of mine, Phil Herman, mentioned earlier today too, which was so fucking crazy. I'm like, dude, we're doing a show on this movie tonight, and he does a review of it, and we started talking.
Oh,
yeah, I was like, okay, synergy is just all over the place, and I'm like, the fact that it was very simplistic in what they did. Nothing was like super over the top. I don't know. Did you get that feeling? I didn't feel like they did so much that it really overshadowed the story.
Like I was saying, I felt that the ending was a little bit over the top, maybe. But they still fucking like it didn't overshadow the movie so much that it just ruins the movie. Like it's still a fucking amazing movie. I just kind of didn't like the ending.
At that point, and we'll get there, so I'll save it. Because I don't want to get out of order, then I'll fuck myself up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But so he's still trying to disprove it, and then his big dumbass decides to, oh well, I'm going to hypnotize, these late night TV shows. They always had the guy on the side that was kind of like the introducer guy. I'm trying to remember what the hell his name was for Johnny Carson.
I can't remember either.
The publisher's clearinghouse guy. God damn it. Ed McMahon, that's right. So in this particular show, the guy that's assuming the role of Ed McMahon for this show gets hypnotized, and he makes him think that he's got fucking. And this like really drew me out because I was like, that was a damn good job. He's like, you have worms. Because he knew that this was a fear of his. And he's like, oh, you can't hypnotize me. And then all of a sudden he's taking him through it. And he literally legit thinks, and everybody in the crowd legit thinks that he's got worms coming out of him, all out of his neck, out of his stomach. A whole fucking stomach comes out. I said, this is amazeballs.
Yeah,
I haven't seen something cool like that in a minute.
Yeah,
so
that was another
part to the effect guys.
Yeah, that's another hat tip to the effects team on that one, because that was fucking phenomenal, dude. Like, yeah, all of the practical effects that were in this movie, and I'm a sucker for practical effects. There's a lot of practical effects in this movie. Like, that's pretty much like 90% of it is practical effects.
Exactly. And I really think that's what catapults this film to the rating system that we're going to end up giving it. I don't know. That scene alone was just like, okay, you have arrived. Because that's really the first thing that they went a little bigger on. And don't worry, there wasn't any worms that were harmed during the making of the film. You don't have to worry about that shit. And then, they stop, and Delroy's like, holy shit, he's okay? And they're like, roll the tape back. And nothing actually happened, but everybody thought that they were seeing these worms come out of him. It was so crazy. But then things get a turn for the worst after this. And again, we don't want to give too much away. So all I can say is when the shit hits the fan and the demon takes over on his own, no longer needs an invitation, it just... people start getting killed. And I'm telling you, if you are that person that watches these films and you want to see the guy that you feel needs to get killed, man, that skeptic hypnotist guy, I think he gets it the worst. And I laughed my fucking ass off so hard because when he, at that moment that he realizes that, oh, this shit is for real, he gets down on his knees and said, Dark Lord, I'm here to serve you. Take me, take me with you. And then he realizes, oh shit.
It was at that point he realized he fucked up.
Oh, it was magic, man. And then they go through a little bit of what you would probably say is like a dream sequence. But must be an airplane.
Sorry, folks.
No worries. What seems like a dream sequence, it's going to take you on a little bit of a psychological ride, and it's really cool how they ran it back to the present time of what was happening on that stage. It was fucking magic. So I'm going to go ahead and run the trailer for y'all so you can check it out if you haven't seen it before. And I'm telling you, just from checking this out, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I got to put this on my list. And then we'll give our actual rating for the film.
5, 4. Now, here's Mr. Midnight, Jack Darrow. Oh, good evening, Night Owls, and thank you for allowing me into your living rooms once again. Night Owls, we've got a heck of a show in store for you tonight, and I'm very excited for you to see it all unfold before your very eyes. I really hope you love it. Gosh, I hope you love it. Please love it. Trying to host a national syndicated talk show, and I'm trying to help you keep it on the air. We all know how important it is to keep our sponsors and affiliates happy, but in my humble opinion, there is only one person who really matters in this whole darn crazy business. And that is you, our viewer. You're meddling with things you don't understand. Whoa! Now, as you know, here on Night Owls, we think it's very important to keep an open mind. Please welcome Dr. June Ross Mitchell and Lily, the young subject of the book, Conversations with the Devil.
I really don't think it's a good idea, Jack. She's becoming more unpredictable.
That's a good thing. That's why we still do fun TV. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for a live television first as we attempt to commune with the devil.
Lily, can you hear me?
Good to see you again, Jack.
Lily, return to me.
This isn't about ratings anymore.
Jack, how could you let it happen?
Please be warned, anyone with young children in the room. What you're about to see. You okay, Jack? Is profoundly disturbing and shocking. Get out there, Mr. Midnight. And you knock him dead.
If that doesn't show you right there that this film is going to blow your fucking mind, it's everything and more. And usually I don't get this excited about modern horror, but I feel like Hollywood got it right this time. So for practical effects, the acting, the cinematography, and the storyline, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. Because I feel like there was just that one little bit of it that they could have done the final part of the film, that little dream sequence that we were kind of talking about. They could have done it a little bit better. So, but, 5 stars being the top, I give it a 4.5.
That's what I
How
get
about
as
you,
well.
Jay? For those same
0.5.
reasons. For those same
Yeah,
reasons.
man. Like, yeah. Oh shit. Sorry.
Apparently, your camera is just having a ball.
Yeah. It's got a mind of its own.
A little bit. I think it got possessed.
Yeah.
Alon says the bald guy reminds me of the dude from Scanners that had his head exploded by Michael Ironside. Yeah, a little bit, and unfortunately, he gets fucked up. He was the one guy I actually felt for. Like he shouldn't have died, but yeah, he gets a pretty bad send off.
Yeah. It was pretty. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Yeah, I think he was the only one. Well, I kind of felt bad for the parapsychologist too. You know what I mean?
I did.
But like, you know, I think those are the only two characters in the movie that I really. And the girl.
Right. But I think at the end of the day, though, that girl had to go. the young girl. So, but the next one that we're going to talk about is definitely, and Morgrot Universe, you guys are big fans of metal and punk and all that stuff. So this one is definitely going to be up your alley.
Keep having issues here.
No problems, brother. No problems at all. There you go. Yeah, I think if you just keep it that way, it'll be good. It'll work. But this one is punk rock to the fucking core on steroids. This is one of those films that was obviously straight to streaming, which honestly, I would have loved to have seen it on the big screen. And surprisingly, it's based on a true story. Because, you know, we're going to give you one serious film. Now we're going to give you one that is so fucking funny, so awesome, gruesome, grotesque at the same time, that we have to give you something to whet that other palate of yours. It's a comedy horror known as, let me get it here, Uncle Peckerhead. Man, I can remember when I found this film. I found it by mistake. One of my streaming platforms, one of my streaming platforms said this movie was coming and that it was a suggestion for me. So I was like, okay, well, they seem to pick some pretty good ones. I haven't really, had too much of a bad experience when a streaming service suggests something for me. But that's how I found it. How did you find it, James?
Dude, I don't even remember how.
Oh no!
It might have been on two. It was one of those, and then like, dude, it was once I watched that, like I was like, oh shit, this is it. Like, I fell in love. Like, it's a horror comedy, man. It's gruesome, it's gory, it's fucking hilarious.
Oh man. It's like right.
Uncle Peckerhead reminds me of my uncle. Like, he would be like my uncle.
I was actually thinking something similar. Like this guy could be the guy in your family, anyone's family, that is like the I don't know, the hitchhiker, or the guy that just kind of sifts through life. He lives in his own van down by the river. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just a guy that just lives by the seat of his pants, and he's so fucking cool though at the same time. Presents himself as cool right from the rip, but it's like how they find him is, I thought, genius. So it's a tale of a 3-piece punk rock band that is about to embark on a 6-day tour. So they got 6 dates to play. And, you know, unfortunately, because life happens, their van gets taken, and they're like, well, fuck, what are we going to do? How are we going to do these dates? How are we going to get over there? So they and I swear this was a throwback to all of us guys. It reminded me of my old days on the road as a drummer in bands, and we had to flyer all over the place. So they took that concept and they're putting flyers on everyone's cars, which, you know, nowadays is a crime. I was like, okay, I like what they did there, because that's what we used to do. You know, so they're like, anybody that's willing to drive us, will pay you, will take care of you, yada, yada, yada. And they flyer, I tell you, a shit ton of cars, till they get to this last fucking one. And they put it on there, and they're like, well, hope it works, you know, the typical horror comedy response. And these three in the band are just brilliant cast, fucking insanely hilarious. I mean, we're gonna talk about all different aspects, because there's just so much fucking hilarity in this film at all times, mixed in with the awesome, gruesome shit. And then all of a sudden, you know, Uncle Pecker jumps out the back of the van. He's like, "Hey, this is my property." You know, it's like the old man on fucking Beavis and Butthead. Come on, you know, guy, what are you doing? Don't you know this is private property? And then they give them their little spiel about, hey, we're a band and we need to go on the road, blah, blah, blah. And this guy's all, shit, I'll drive you. Now, what would be this is a question for Morgrat Universe and James. What would be your first impression of this guy? If he said, sure, let's go.
The bad idea.
We might have lost him again. I think we lost you. Yep.
Damn it.
We got you now. We got you now. Oh, no. Okay. So anyways, here is the band of misfits, no pun intended. So you got the bald guy who's the lead vocalist, guitarist, and then the chick in the middle is kind of like the leader of the band. She's the bassist and does additional vocals. And then the drummer is on the right. So they're like, well, what the fuck are we going to do? I mean, they got to go on tour. Their whole thing is by the last date, and James is back with us. Hell yeah. He's back. And they're like, well, what should we do? Should we take the gamble? And you were saying what your first impression would be?
They'd be like, well, what's the catch? Like, immediately, like, it seems sketchy as fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's some random dude jumping out the back of a what most people would call a stalker van.
Yeah. I would call it something else, but I'm not going to say that here. I've learned lessons on getting hit. But yeah, man. I mean, right off the bat, I would be like, something.
You know, so. Morgrat Universe, if Uncle Pecker jumped out the back of a van and just said, hey, let's do this thing. This sounds great. You know, I'll get you to where you need to go. I want to hear your responses as well. You tell me, because we're going to tell you some more about this film that you're going to be like, Again, this whole fucking movie reminds me of my early days on the road when, you were lucky if you ate a bologna on hand without the bread,
Right.
and so they all decide they're going to go ahead and they're going to go through with this shit. So they get to the first gig, and this is where it all just spirals out of control in such an awesome way. How many times have you been in a band where you showed up to a gig and you're expecting other bands to be on the bill, and then suddenly the guy goes, well, you're the only one on tonight. Can you do 3 hours worth of material? No. And then, the leader of the band's like, I thought this was a showcase. Yeah, we're showcasing you. I've been there before, man. They're like, we only got like 20 minutes of material. And mind you, this is a punk rock band to the core. And the fucking bar owner, I mean, the bar is like your traditional hole in the wall. It just has bar flies that come in. It's not a hot spot. There's nobody going in there except to drown their sorrows in fucking booze. I mean, naturally, that would be fine, but not if you're a band, because, you get paid by each head that comes through the door. Cody here says, no going anywhere near a guy named Pecker in the back of a stalker. Exactly. I mean, he's like, my name's Peckerhead, and they're all looking at him like, Pecker who? He's like, well, that's what my guy called me until he left. I'm just like, that was fucking brilliant in the script. I wonder if it was
Brilliant, man.
So they get to the end of this gig, right? And like I said, some of you out there in Morgrad Entertainment watching right now, you've been in this situation where you're getting ready to get paid out. Everyone's waiting to get paid out. And this motherfucking bar owner comes out and hands them 3 $1 bills. Since they only had 20 goddamn minutes of original material plus a cover, you just finished a 3-hour set basically playing that set 3 times. Nobody liked them because it was like old folks and like some other dumbasses just kind of sitting in there. And they're like, $3. I mean, I would be pissed off. I would want to hurt the man. Anybody would. Babylon says here, he says, years ago, I played a mini tour and all we had was bologna, tortilla wraps, and a few cases of root beer. I feel it. I've been there. That shit is wild. And, so Uncle Peckerhead, being Uncle Peckerhead, says, I got to take a leak before we hit the road. In that great, great Southern accent of his, I swear. I don't know if that's his actual accent, but he like throws it big. And it's so damn funny. So
From the
he's
South,
in there.
fucking.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, if he's not actually from the South, like, dude, he's a phenomenal actor because he had me believe.
Mm.
And hell,
Totally
Texas.
Oh yeah. I mean, this guy, they couldn't have picked a better actor. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
And the chick leader of the band is like, well, he's been in there a really long time. What's going on? I mean, anybody else would be like, hey, let's go. We got to get to the next show, right? So she goes in there. But much to her dismay, She walks in on this dude munching on the bar owner. I mean,
Just like
he's just
going to town.
He's just going to town on him. It's fantastic. And again, this is what he looks like when he changes. And we're going to get into a little bit of that here in a second. And she screams, and to my absolute delight, I don't know about you, James, but he shrieks and screaming too, like, "Oh no, I got caught!"
Fucking hilarious. That was probably like, dude, that was probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yup.
That shit was fucking funnier than hell.
Absolutely. And the guy's name is David Littleton. He's the one that plays Uncle Peckerhead. Fucking genius. So go ahead and tell him what happens next.
They, it's every time at midnight, the Uncle Peckerhead turns into this thing, and he has to eat people's flesh for 13 minutes.
13.
So, basically,
That's
we're like, well, fuck, we've got this guy that's traveling us around that's a fucking flesh-eating ghoul, but I mean, he's a fucking kick-ass fucking roadie. Like, he's the best goddamn roadie they've ever fucking had, and he's their transportation. It's like, well, do we kind of, turn him in because he's a flesh-eating ghoul, or do we just sort of go along with it?
Well, I mean, after now, this is the crazy part. He's like, "Let's go get some grub," right? This is what Uncle Pecker says. Uncle Pecker. God damn it. Anyways, so they go and get some grub, and he explains himself, everything that James just told you, and pulls out a wad of cash, and that changed more than 50% of the band's minds at that point. They're like, he just got us paid and then some. We can handle this. If he says he's in control, he says he can control it. Letting out the whatever it is that he turns into. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I saw that photo, when I saw the film for the first time, I was like, he's turning into a demon. Yeah. And it's for 13 minutes. I mean, come on. 13 minutes.
Yeah.
We don't know what that means. So I'm like, all right, this just got so fucking cool. And I'm laughing my ass off. Shit. So we got some comments here. Let me see here. He goes, Babylon says, ooh, a skinwalker type dude. Kind of, sort of. It's like we know but we don't know. It's kind of weird. I love this. He says, Uncle Peckerhead for president.
Hell yeah.
Get them shirts.
He's got my vote.
He's like, right. A 13-minute curve. Pretty much. Right. He's taken obviously an interest in the band because he's sitting there watching them play in that club that we were just talking about. He's like, oh, these guys are pretty good. Like, he gets into it. Never heard them before. By the way, the band's name is Duh. I mean, how punk rock is that? Nah, he cut out. Right,
oh, shit.
Right. Nope, you're back.
These goddamn airplanes, man.
It scrambles the signal. You gotta love it. Gotta hate it.
Fuckers.
Right. So they decide to like continue on at that point because shit, we got paid when we were about to just get paid $3. Now we have food, shelter, the whole 9 yards with this fucking guy. So they continue on. And my favorite part of the film, I gotta give it to this one dude. His name is Amir Khan. He's the token pretty boy of this band that they're going to play with. Okay. His acting was genius. The part was genius, to be honest with you. I mean, he's like not what you would expect from, let's say, a metal band or, you know, one of those pretty boy guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, we already know what's going to happen. Obviously, you know, the leader of the band, Judy, it just like instantly falls for him. But what cracked me the fuck up is the bald-headed guitarist, vocalist of the band. He's like all enamored with him too. Like, oh, he's just the cutest man I've ever seen. Uncle Peckerhead walks in and goes, "Did you see that beautiful piece of meat?" I was dying. Like, this is horror comedy at its best. So fucking funny. And then, of course, you know, you throw in a band that is that band that you want to hate. They think they're the shit, but they actually suck. You know?
Right.
You throw them in there, and things just kind of snowball and snowball from there until the epic ending, which I thought was so fucking weird. I don't want to give it away because if you haven't seen the film, oh my goodness, you're going to be like so fucking torn because this band goes through so much shit, hilarious shit, but pretty gruesome shit at the same time. And then the law enforcement, you know, gets involved, and then they finally get to play again. Don't want to ruin it, so I'm not going to do that. So what we're going to is we're going to let y'all out there in Morgrot Universe decide whether or not you want to check this film out, because I got the trailer for you. Check this shit out.
Band meeting. 6 shows, 7 days.
What do you guys need a van for?
So that our band can go on tour.
I can drive y'all. Every touring band needs a roadie, don't they?
Sorry, I didn't get your name.
My name's Peckerhead.
That is not your name.
It's tour time.
Beck, we gotta move. Let's go. What could be taking him so long? Hello?
Every night at midnight, I turn into something.
Who's to say it wouldn't be one of us next time?
I am in complete control.
Yo! Put your head down so we can get the top of your dome.
Damn.
Ah, man. You know, we've only really, we have totally just scratched the surface with this one. I mean, it's got so many different elements of some of the really honestly, some of the great comedy horror that is very much independent horror comedies. And I mean, let's call it what it is. You know, this was obviously shot brilliantly, but not on a major budget. There's no way.
Oh no. No. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it came out during COVID.
It was 2022 was the release date. So
It was.
just
It
after.
might have been in. Yeah, it might have been in production during COVID, which might have, or right before, which
Yep.
might have put a damper on things. But either way, man, yeah, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, this is another one, dude. Like, dude, I think I give it, man. I the same. It was entertaining as hell. It was gory. Like, it was everything that I fucking.
So sorry, he's coming in and out. Oh no!
Maybe.
There he is.
Maybe.
One more time. One more time.
All right, yeah, I give it a 4.5 because like it was hilarious, it was gory, it was raunchy, it was everything that I usually look for in a horror.
And this is probably going to be a first because as this show goes on in the future, not every movie is going to get the same rating, but in this case, I would definitely have to agree with James on this, that the acting is brilliant, the simplicity, and that's kind of like the parallel that we're seeing between that and Late Night with the Devil. Like, it was very simply shot. The practical effects were the fucking bomb on this. The kills that Uncle Peckerhead does, I mean, I will say this, even though some of you out there in Morgrot Universe haven't seen it yet, when the metalheads are jamming out in the park one night to some thrash or some death metal, and they start treating the bald-headed guitar player like shit, like they're in high school, and they're just like totally dogging this dude, right? One of them beams him in the head with a full can of beer, and he goes down like a sack of fucking potatoes, this guy. I felt so bad for him. I'm like, dude, Peckerhead better like take care of business on this one. The kills on the guys were fucking awesome. That's all I can say.
It was brutal as fuck, man. But in a good way, because they were assholes and they definitely deserved it.
Exactly. And that's kind of like the roaming theme throughout the film, is like Uncle Peckerhead's taken out everybody that kind of deserves it, in a way. But by the end, things kind of take a turn for the worst in their relationship. So if you want to find out just how this ends up, fucking check this film out. I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's one of those films where it's like fucking fun. That's what we want when we have a comedy horror film, especially this day and age. We want to have fun. They're not throwing a bunch of tits and shit at you, but it still has a lot of those classic elements from the 80s and the 90s. You're going to love it. Like I said, and I'll say this every time, you don't have to take our word for it. But hopefully we've given you enough on both of these films to maybe want to check them out, especially if you're a horror lover. Check them out, see what you think, man, because you just might end up falling in love with it like we did.
Yeah.
Now, we're not
For sure.
We're not going to pick movies that we love, per se. It's going to happen where you got a good one and a bad one go up against each other, and then you guys have to decide which one's better. But in this case, these two films, man, slam fucking dunk. Slam dunk.
I love them both.
Man, so we have come to the end of the show. And we thank you guys so fucking much. I mean, my black heart, James's black heart. we couldn't be happier. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother. Oh, he froze again.
There we go.
Damn it. I didn't want to interrupt. Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks again, everybody. It's been an absolute blast. And yeah, if you can, go check out Uncle Peckerhead and Late Night with the Devil. Both of these movies are absolutely phenomenal.
Totally appreciate y'all tuning in and choosing us for your hump day entertainment. We're going to be doing this about twice a month, I think. So we will definitely keep you updated when we're going to do the next one. And it's going to be just as much fucking fun. And I have to say, we love your comments. We love your feedback. So you guys showed up. You showed out. I'm tickled fucking pink. This is the first one of Carnage and Reaper's Backyard Horror Barbecue. And I can't wait to do another one. And throughout the week and stuff, don't be afraid to message either one of us with some ideas, though, some films that maybe you want us to check out and we can do on the show.
Hey.
We would absolutely love it. Because, it's like Babylon said, horror is our life. Not horrors.
Damn right.
Horror.
Horror.
So many people are always correcting me. They're like, did you just say horror? I'm like, no, horror.
Well, no, I said horror.
I mean, if whores are your thing, that's up to you. I'm just playing. But we appreciate you guys so much. Definitely tune in on Monday for the next edition of Reaper's Underground, where I'm going to be interviewing an excellent band from Memphis. So definitely stay tuned to the Facebook for that information. It'll be coming out tomorrow. And look forward to seeing you then. And then on Saturday, it's the Anything Goes show. You already know the goddamn program is back and ready to tear shit up. So we appreciate you all so much. Thank you, James, for joining on the show. And I look forward to many, many more of these because this was so fun. It felt so good to just focus on one of the biggest parts of our lives, and that's horror. So
damn right.
Absolutely. As you're getting ready to, unfortunately, probably have to go to work tomorrow, as we all do. Yeah. And you got visions of Uncle Peckerhead telling you, hey, you got to do the show.
Man. Shit, what's waiting for?
Happy.